NASCAR Cup Series champion.
Jeff Motley is spokesperson for Sonoma Raceway. He says this year brings the debut of the next generation NASCAR vehicle.
NASCAR is continuing to evolve the race car that these guys compete in on Sundays, and they've done a lot of changes with this car, and it has really proven to create better, more competitive racing at virtually every speedway that they've been to.
Motley says truck racing returns after a 24-year absence. The three-day event features 3 country music concerts, a Ferris wheel, and a lot more food. Traffic on highway...
The 50th anniversary is coming up. The system will mark a half-century of service on September 11th.
There we go. Thank you.
90380. Beth is located here in the Bay Area, offering free consultations. consultations in a friendly, professional, no-pressure atmosphere. Call back at 925-969-0310
Thank you.
or callback.net. Borrower must pay property taxes, insurance, and HOA dues, and live in and maintain a home. NMLS 294-774-1858311612. Licensed under the Department of Business Oversight under CRMLA. Equal Housing Opportunity. KCBS News Time 8:58. Let's take you back to your local Honda dealer's traffic center for an update on this morning's drive from Kim. We are taking a look at BART. They are saying that they're still recovering from that earlier system-wide computer failure that happened at the 5 o'clock hour right at the outset. Now they're saying expect 20-minute delays system-wide. Before they were just calling it major delays, indicating it was more than 20 minutes, so we're down to 20-minute delays. That's some improvement, I suppose. We're looking at the Bay Bridge coming into San Francisco. We're still backed up to the Bay.
And that's 29.
Luggage from Albany Hill coming down into Berkeley and Emeryville. And the westbound traffic is still kind of sluggish entering and exiting the tunnel. Another slow spot is at Fremont Street. And of course, this is going to get busier in the midday because the Giants have a home game today. It starts at 12:45. We're looking at the Golden Gate Bridge. There was a stall last time we talked northbound right around the South Tower. Looks like they are removing it now off the span. Traffic starting to loosen up, but a bit of a delay still from the Presidio Parkway on that approach out of San Francisco. Southbound's fine though. Your next update 9:08 on the traffic leader KCBS.
Thanks, Kim. Forecast is going to be toasty. That's the best way to put it for the next few days. Looking to top out today in the upper 80s and 90s in the inland valleys. Traffic and weather together on the 8th Snowies 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
It is Thursday, June 9th, 2022, coming up on KCBS.
I'm Keith Mantoni. Bay Area transit officials could soon turn the screws on the hundreds of thousands of drivers who owe unpaid bridge tolls.
And this is Matt Bigler. A system-wide computer problem at BART is causing major train delays this morning.
It's once a week. It's one thing or another with BART.
And the January 6th committee prepares to lay out its case in a primetime hearing.
Good morning, I'm Melissa Colrock.
And I'm Jason Brooks.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station. 9 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. A Republican candidate for governor in Michigan has been arrested by the FBI. Ryan Kelly faces a misdemeanor count for his role in last year's attack on the U.S. Capitol. CBS's Scott McFarland looks ahead to tonight's primetime hearing for the House committee that's investigating the insurrection.
We're going to hear the words conspiracy and coordination a lot tonight. But when did the coordination begin? You'll hear the name Oath Keepers a lot tonight. The far-right group accused of conspiracy and of using this choreographed military stack formation to get past the police lines and to get past the doors. We'll also hear the name Proud Boys a lot tonight.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson tells CBS News it's time for graphic images of those killed by semi-automatic weapons to be released to show the impact of gun violence.
I do not advocate for the use of any specific image, but I do believe that Americans need to see much more of this civilization.
Meanwhile, the Texas where 21 were killed in school last month. Superintendent Al Harris says people are trying to move ahead.
Our mission continues to provide constant support for our staff, family, for the foreseeable future. Early in our summer programs, we have counseling support available for all students on their respective summer school campuses.
The Justice Department's opening an investigation into the Louisiana State Police amid evidence the agency has looked the other way in the face of beatings of mostly black men. CBS's Cammie McCormick's got the latest on a deadly military aircraft crash.
4 of the 5 Marines on this Osprey were killed. It went down yesterday in a remote area more than 100 miles from San Diego. The Marines were based at Camp Pendleton. This is an aircraft that takes off and lands vertically like a helicopter, but flies like a plane.
The 5th Marine is unaccounted for. The PGA says golfers who play in the rival Saudi League will no longer be eligible for PGA events. Nathan Murphy of the Golf Weekly podcast says it's a big money battle.
The money is out of this world. Certainly it is the greatest threat and rival that the PGA Tour has ever faced.
Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson are among those playing in the inaugural event. White House now says it has a plan to deliver 10 million doses of COVID vaccine for kids under 5 by June 20th. Approval by regulators expected next week. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Shatner.
This is exciting news for pediatricians, family doctors, and many parents, because they want to bring their youngest children in to get protected also.
Right now the Dow is down 115 points. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
It is 9:03 at the Bay Area's news station KCBS. Sunny skies expected today with hot temperatures inland and expected to get a certain wind. Here is what's happening.
Pack your patience if you're taking BART this morning, as KCBS's Matt Bigler reports from the Bayfair BART station. System-wide computer problem has caused significant delays for all trains.
When will the trains run? Confused commuters were locked out of the station early this morning because no trains were running. BART says a computer problem at headquarters shut down the entire network of trains. But then, almost as quickly as it started, the issue was resolved and trains were back in service. Commuters like Katie Martinez were both relieved and frustrated.
Electronics are electronics. It stinks. This is my only transportation to get to work because there's no parking where I work. So this would have cost me $50 for parking today if I had to drive in.
This isn't the first time a computer problem has completely shut down BART, which still relies on a control system built in the 70s. At the Bayfair BART station, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
Bay Area transit authorities are considering how to collect tens of millions of dollars in unpaid bridge tolls commuters racked up over the course of the pandemic. We get that story from KCBS reporter Keith Manconi.
Transit officials are inching back towards a policy in which drivers with outstanding bridge tolls could see a lien placed on their car registrations. It's a tough tactic that was paused at the start of the pandemic. Now, though, Amy Worth, who serves on a committee on bridge tolls, says collecting those unpaid debts is critical.
The reality is all the bridges, the seismic retrofit, the money to maintain the bridges, is based on toll revenue.
But the move is facing pushback. At a recent committee meeting, advocates for low-income residents argued that now is not the time to ratchet up pressure on the hundreds of thousands of drivers who could be affected.
Toll fines and fees are harmful, costly, and counterproductive, burdening those who are more vulnerable with debt, much of which is uncollectible.
Ultimately, the committee opted to move forward with a slow rollout that'll include payment plan options for low-income drivers. Keith Manconi, KCBS.
As San Francisco considers whether to continue to fund some community testing sites, the rate of people testing positive for COVID continues to spike. But as KCBS's Mike DeWald reports, there may be an explanation for why that number remains high.
San Francisco's 14% test positivity rate is the second highest since the start of the pandemic, only eclipsed by a nearly 19% benchmark in January. But UCSF's Dr. Peter Chin Hong says that number is likely ballooning because the overall number of people actually going out and getting tested is low.
Only the people who kind of suspect they are positive are getting tested to make sure, because the antigen tests are, negative in the beginning. Or they may be getting tested to get Paxlovid. So you're getting the cream of the crop or the lowest hanging fruit.
While San Francisco is earmarking nearly $60 million for COVID response, that would force some community testing sites to close. But Chin Hong cautions test positivity is just one measure. He says hospitalization and wastewater data are more encouraging.
The sewage data is looking pretty decent and stable, if not going down in some areas like San Jose, San Francisco, and Davies.
As things settle, Chin Hong expects the Bay Area should have a good July and August, though the impact of the highly infectious BA4 and 5 subvariants remains to be seen. Mike DeWald, KCBS.
And this hour on Ask an Expert, Joshua Solomon, professor of health policy at the Stanford University School of Medicine, will be joining us. We'll be talking about the current COVID surge in the Bay Area and why it's so hard to anticipate what will come next. That's coming up this hour at 9:20, and you can send us your questions to askus@kcbsradio.com. Again, That's askus@kcbsradio.com.
Just ahead on KCBS, the heat's coming for us across the Bay Area. We are first for traffic at KCBS, so let's take a look at your drive into work and some of those residual delays from Bart's earlier computer problem. Yep, that started the thing off. At 5 o'clock this morning, there was no BART service. They had a system-wide computer failure, but by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, they had restored service. And right now they're just still saying that's residual delays working out of the system. So not as severe as it had been, but we're still shaking loose from that earlier problem. In the meantime, we're taking a look at traffic around the Bay, and we take a look at the Bay Bridge, which had earlier issues as well. This report is brought to you by Cars for Kids Real Estate. We just see a backup at the toll plaza that's actually easing a bit. It's the foot of the MacArthur Maze. We have a couple sluggish spots as you make your way into San Francisco. There was an earlier crash near the Harrison Street turnoff that has been cleared, but we're not back to the speed limit there yet. Northbound 101 coming up the peninsula, a bit of a delay from Highway 92 out toward Broadway Burlingame, and then things get considerably better. We are taking a look at a problem in Hayward. This is coming in for the southbound side of 880 near Tennyson. First report of an accident here. I do see a little slow band of traffic, but it's been there all morning anyway from Highway 92 to Tennyson, and then more sluggish traffic as you go into Union City from Whipple down to Alvarado Niles. Much earlier problems cleared away, though. Cars for Kids now accepts real estate donations. Cars for Kids Real Estate will take over all expenses for your property, and best of all, Cars for Kids Real Estate will provide you with a tax deduction for the full appraised value of your property. To donate, visit carsforkidsrealestate.org. Your next update, 9:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Kim. There could be a crowd at the beach today. It's going to be sunny and toasty. Looking for 60s and low 70s along the coast, 70s and 80s Bayside, upper 80s and 90s inland, overnight 50s and lower 60s in some spots, and it's going to even be her on Friday. Looking for 70s at the beaches, 80s and 90s Bayside, and we'll be seeing some triple digits inland. Looking for a high of 94 in Concord, 96 in Santa Rosa, and 82 in Oakland. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
We open inside a vast lair. A Nissan Rogue speeds toward a gigantic door, closing fast. Our hero says,
I know this seems like your typical narrow escape, but it's not. This is a Nissan sales event ad.
The doors inch closer. Will she make it? Determined, she grips the wheel and hits the gas. The turbocharged Rogue squeezes through just as the giant doors clang shut.
There's no escaping summer savings during the Nissan summer event. Get 1.9% financing for up to 72 months on 14 models. Availability is limited, so contact your local dealer for inventory information and shop NissanUSA.com.
Hurry, before these offers get away.
For well-qualified buyers, 1.9% APR financing for up to 72 months on eligible new Nissan models and dealer stock. Example of financing per 1,000 finance is $1,471 per 72 months and $2,860 per 36 months. Actual down payment may vary subject to NMAC credit approval and residency restrictions. Dealer contribution may affect price set by dealer. Dealer says actual price. Contact dealer for details. Call 1-888-858-8319 for offer details and list of eligible models. N7522.
Attention Bay Area homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? John Buys Bay Area Houses can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call John now, 510-426-7000, or go online to johnbuysbayareahouses.com to get a free, no obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenants skipped rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. John buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why John Buys Bay Area Houses is the most trusted home buyer in the Bay. Go online to get your offer today. johnbuysbayareahouses.com or call 510-426-7000. That's 510-426-7000.
KCBS News Time 9/11. This portion of our News Watch sponsored by Pacific Coast Termite.
Hopefully your AC is working and you've got some cold beverages ready to go because a heat wave is settling over the Bay Area. KCBS's Chris Ancarlo has more on what to expect.
We'll start feeling it today, and then things will peak on Friday with the hottest temperatures across the region.
National Weather Service meteorologist Sean Miller says the hottest spots will be in the East Bay, South Bay, and North Bay Inland Valley. So pretty much everywhere.
For inland areas, we're talking about highs well into the 90s, some spots, potentially even eclipsing the 100-degree mark.
The heat will be a whole nother level in the Central Valley.
That area is under an excessive heat warning. Temperatures in those areas are going to be climbing to about 100 to 106 degrees and not cooling off much at night.
Late nights in the middle of June, heat waves, even in San Francisco, where it'll be in the 70s and 80s.
You'll have a bit of clouds at times, but it'll still be something we feel a little bit warmer, just nothing quite like the intensity that folks further inland will experience.
Nice. Little extra sunscreen and drink on a patio.
Always a good plan.
Planning is important for these heat waves. Chris Ancarlo.